Here, and once again, you're joining my Gerone Wright YouTube channel here on YouTube. I did a video on this painting once before, based on it's a very famous painting that was made famous through ancient aliens theorists, describing these objects flying over the crucifixion of Christ, describing them as UFOs or alien interventions at the time of Christ's crucifixion. All right. First of all, I mean, you got to know that. I mean, it actually drives me crazy that you have art schools, artists that have evolved from a period of this time with the art through ancestry. These schools that are famous today, these art schools, and no one has came forward to describe what these objects are. So that's red flags for me right there. Then you have religion, which has evolved or transcended through this time and through this art form and through the information, the text information of this entire meaning of what this everything stands for in this picture, and yet they have not come forward to describe what these objects are. In the crucifixion of Christ, where one that seems to be chasing the other, and then flying saucers or spaceships are in comets. They look like comets, right? Then you have today what really irks me is the fact that you have ancient alien theorists come through, and they come through and described a theory which caters to your wildest imaginations, because things are flying in the air, of this being some type of alien intervention. But there is nothing in ancient texts that describes this as these objects as UFOs or flying vessels or any type of anything of that sort from that time, or that you don't see nothing in following throughout that time to current mentioning anything about these flying objects. Well, that's because these objects, people, and and hold on before I go forward to saying what these objects are. In fact, I can tell you what these objects are. These objects are the representation of cell structures. All right, white blood cell structures, and I'll get into that, and I'll take you exactly to what I'm identifying these are at, and we'll go from there. But if you can get a close-up of this image, okay, do me a favor and look at the hair of each one of these characters in this picture, in this depiction. And the hair is a representation of our bloodline. You can get DNA. You can extract DNA from your hair. We all know that if you get a strand of hair. So artists utilize the hair in their paintings to describe DNA and bloodlines are by the characters in their codes of doing this. A lot of Renaissance artists did this. They described who an individual was categorically through by their DNA, by basically placing an image of their ancestry or their bloodline in their hair. So in each one of these individuals' hair, you'll be able to see a face of their black ancestor. Now, I don't want this to happen. Of their black ancestor or their ancestry before them, their gene root. And that's what this is all about. Like this guy here, you can see a face in his hair there. You can see a face here. And they'll be looking monkey-like, and they'll be looking like Africans. That's what these faces look like. I'm going to go to another image right quick for you. Hold on. I'm going to show you something because I want to take you to something else. Here is a white cell structure right here. That object that individual is in, if you were to cut this away and put a man inside of here, look, if you cut this away, you could take that image from the Christ image, that guy flying in what looked like to be a comet, or let the ancient alien theorists fool you into believing that it's a spaceship, It's the identical. See those 3 points coming up back there? It will be this identical thing as what we're describing. This is the cell structure of a human being right here. These are white cells. White cells. So if I cut this away and put a picture of me in there, it's describing the same damn thing. A human cell structure. So let's go back. This is a white cell structure here, people. A blood cell structure here. Now check this out. These are white blood cells. Now check this out. This thing has points on it and everything, this, that, the third. The only problem is it's not cut away and don't have a man in there. But this is titled as a human white blood cell structure. And it has the white cell structure there. So let's go back to this. Let's go back to this right quick, because I want to drive my point home right from the beginning of my video. Something I very rarely do. So if you go back to this guy right here, this star thing, this red star figure, symbolization on it, is showing you that this is a white blood cell structure, and it's showing you that that's what that is. It's showing you it is a cell structure. Right on the side, there's the insignia. The same exact thing that I just showed you. Here's the points right there, people. And it's showing you that it is a human white blood cell structure, because there's a human inside of the damn thing, inside of the half of a nucleus there, I would call it. He's the nucleus. So it's telling you that it is a man cell structure, or a female cell structure, a human cell structure. That's what this is describing. In just a few seconds, I described that. Now, hold on, but it gets better. Hold on. It's just a few seconds. So, ancient alien theorists, go screw yourself with that being a flying saucer now. You're only allowed to thrive in your ridiculous theories because they want you to fool us about what is actually happening and who we really are. So you're allowed to thrive in your theories and become popular in your show and become more successful because you're guiding the masses of people away from the truth. Just as everything else is in ancient rooted religion and ancient rooted royalty. Now, here, I'm going to come in close. This is also a cell structure, a human cell structure. And I'm going to take you into something else that I've identified here with that. You see right here? This is called a pit right here. Okay? You see those 4 dots right there in that pit? That has a specific name in the cell structure. It's called a plasmodesmata. A plasmodesmata. Okay, it's plasmodesmata. It's a pit, it's a sunken area, and it has these little dots inside of it. Now, this is a cell wall that these dots are in. So, I'm going to take you to a picture. This identical thing is on that object, that man inside of that cell, flying over top of the Christ during his crucifixion in that painting. So this is identified, this is key to identifying everything that I've said, because this is spot on, identical, those 4 little dots right here in this model of this cell structure. This is a cell, a wall in this model of this cell structure is a wall, and this plasmodesma has these 4 dots in a sunken pit, and it's the same as the identifying thing that is on that flying guy in that vessel that guy is flying on, which I'm describing now as a cell nucleus. And here we go. Lo and behold, right here. Oh, hold on, you can't see. Let me lower this down some. Lo and behold, right here, if you Google this image, there's that little circle here and there, and you have that plasmodium, whatever that is. It's plasmodesmata, plasmodia, and it's on the wall of a cell. Okay, and it's specific and key to identifying that of a human cell right there. Those 4 little dots, they're here and they're there. And then this right here is describing that this is a white blood cell structure. You see this right here? This emblem right here, this insignia. You know what that's saying? This is a white blood cell structure. That's what this is stating. These objects, each one of these objects, you got one, the shell that this guy is in, he's the nucleus, describing everything about this genetically of what this is describing, and it's describing that there is a nucleus, there's a cell structure change here. This is a white blood cell being chased and being altered by a newly created cell structure that they're describing happened and occurred through the death of Christ and his DNA. My entire discovery is coming to the forefront in exact, spot on, in describing everything that I'm telling you, that these are cell structures, and it's telling you that one that's already been in place. Whose cell structure is this? This is the cell structure, white blood cell structure of our ancestors, which were ape and African, because they're describing it here. And let me show you something else here. I always had this chance to come down. Let me zoom out. If you Google this image, go between this point, the top point, and the lower point. If you look right in here, I have a black man filled in there. There's his beard, there's his mouth, there's his ear, there's his hair. He has a little point on his head, there's his nose, there's his eye, there's his lips. If you go there and Google that, mine is highlighted, go between, you will see the face of a black man. I have it highlighted right there. I have mine highlighted for you. So from the top of this point here to the bottom, it's telling you that this is a white blood cell structure of a black man. Black man, Africans, and I'm calling theirs an original black race before Africans. Then there was reptilians. We evolved from reptiles. So this cell structure is showing us that, because this guy's hand, if you go to his hand right here, you will see that he's holding his hand in the form of a snake. He's holding his hand out like that, and it creates the mouth of the snake. Hold on, I can't do it here. It creates the mouth of the snake. Well, oh gosh, I can't hold it. Well, this guy's hand is doing, I don't care. Can I do it with that hand? No, I can't even do it with that hand. Yeah, almost a little bit. His hand is forming the snake like this. And the snake's eye is right there in his hand. Okay? So if you Google this, look at his hand and how his hand looks so strange. And you know what he's showing us? It's a snake. It's a serpent. A reptile. Showing us the further you go back in time, the closer in proximity we were to our reptilian, our African ancestors. It's showing you that this cell structure is now is being altered, and it's showing you how it's being altered. It's being chased down and changed by this newly created cell structure. And you see this guy here looking like a Roman figure, a Greek figure, showing you that these genes are going down to chase down and change the genes that came before it. Genetic gene altering. I wonder how I'm able to do that, people. These paintings, Renaissance artwork, is describing how we were genetically altered, how we were created, how there is a maintenance procedure in place, how there's a practice, a cult-like practice that creates these cauldrons, these blood changes, these bloodline changes in us. Now, if you come over here, I can tell you exactly and describe to a scientist exactly what our scientists, I'm describing in a layman's terms. They'll be able to tell you exactly which cell that is being described, because there's creatures in here which I can identify and I know what they stand for and I can highlight them. This guy here, that's only supposed to be one guy looking forward, there's 5 other faces in there with him. In his head alone, there's 4 other. There's 1, 2, 3, and then one looking head, 4 faces. The face almost like the 4 faces of Vishnu, that type of thing going on, the Hindu god Vishnu. And then you have other faces in there describing which blood cells or which cell structures that these are, which is going after the original, which is our ape and African and reptilian ancestors, to change them. So this is not no chase of no aliens over top of Christ. This is showing you that through the blood of Christ and that of everything which Christ stands for, Christianity, ancient rooted royalty and ancient rooted religion, how they from the blood of Christ are genetically altering the genetic being of mankind. And this painting stands for a record of that from that time. This is what this is all about. Now, ancient alien theorists, as smart as these guys want to be. Now, just imagine, people, you have bona fide artists, bona fide art schools. Then ancient alien theorists have all of these scientific backing with all of these different degrees and everything else. Then you have all types of scientists globally. Everybody, which have studied in this picture and all. And here I am telling you that these are describing white blood cells. And I'm spot on in everything that I'm describing. This insignia is a representation of a white blood cell. These 4 little dots right here on that shell, on that white blood cell shell, they're called plasmodium, whatever the hell they called. They described it already for you. And this guy is showing you as a nucleus. It's showing you that this is a man cell structure, a mankind, should I say, a mankind cell structure. And that's what this is describing, a mankind cell structure. And this is showing you genetic altering, intervention. All right, let me go to my next. Which direction were we going here? There's a whole lot of other things going on here. Again, there's a close-up. I'm going to show you another face here on how this works. If you look in here, you see this guy here, he's holding his hand up. There's other things in here too, by the way, people. Look at how there's a woman. If you cover this part up, here's a man's face here. Beard, face, nose, and eye. Right there. If you cover him up, what is a woman doing in there with him? There's a woman's face right here. Chin, mouth, nose, and eye. Can you see that? Chin, mouth, nose, and eye. And she's wearing like a do-rag on the back of her head there. Look at that. Now, there's the man. Now I'm covered. What is a woman doing in there? Right there. Hold on. Right there. There's the man. And then there's a woman. Now, the woman can be realized as looking both ways. This way and forward. Look at that. There's her eye right there. There's her nose. There's her chin. Her chin. Elongated chin. So what is that? What's going on with that? What is a woman doing riding in this cell structure or in this spaceship with that? And then there's a bunch of other stuff going on up in here. You'll see creatures. Eye, nose, there's creatures up in here showing you what genes were used to create this cell structure to go after the other one. Now, here's something else that I want to show you. If I can get over there. I'm going to turn it that way. Notice how these guys, notice how this night sky, this whole thing appears to be a nucleus. This blue, just look at the blue. Appears to be a meltdown. Look at how this sky is melting down into these people like a liquid. Look, it's literally like it's like ocean swallowing these people up. Look, like they're drowning in a fluid. Now this is supposed to be a night sky. Or the sky or blue sky right there with Christ. So what is it doing melting down into this guy's ear and into these people's hair like that? You know what it's describing? That the causes and effect of these cells restructuring is affecting the peoples of this area. That's what this is describing. How they have successfully concocted a gene in a cauldron-like way, and now they're taking and contaminating the rest of the people, and that's what this is describing. This cell structure has now caused for contamination. What this concoction is, they're talking about here, they're running down on that, is talking about a global contamination of this here. Now think back on all of these civilizations, cultures and civilizations that supposedly disappeared. Or just think about when the conquistadors and Christopher Columbus came to America, how the people started dying through the sickle cell anemia, through this viruses that they brought and killed these people with. It's almost the same exact thing. A purposeful act which has been inflicted upon people, like a genocide in sort of sense. But these are cell structures, people, and there's the proof right there. That star-like structure on there is describing the white blood cell. That's why this is white and this guy is a nucleus. It can describe everything. I'm not describing it in the best scientific way, but trust me, people, that's what it is. All right, now, hold on. Let me keep going. What else do I have here? Why is this not? Okay, there you go. Again, there's the cell wall, and there's the holes. Those holes on the cell wall is called the plasmodesmus. All right, the plasmodesmus, whatever it is, plasmodesmata. All right, and there's those holes, and there's the cell wall there, describing the same exact thing that I just showed you in that image. I'll probably have to put more in writing. Here's another description here. See the star-like things up there, people? It's the same exact thing that I'm describing. Yep. The entire painting. Okay. Let me show you something. I'll go back to this. The entire painting, which Christ is in, that crucifixion of Christ where Christ is hanging in. Each and every individual in that painting, which is being characterized, is describing. It's like this here. It's like a motion picture of a cell structure model. That's what the painting is about. That's what all Renaissance art is about. It's about cell structures. So they're taking the people, live candidate peoples, humans, and showing them in the sense of being that of cells, and showing you how they were altered. That's what the painting is all about. These paintings, this Renaissance artwork, this is the biggest secret behind art, is that it is showing you and describing to you people, humans, real figures, and their genetic altering. And this is why you see all of their peoples in these Renaissance art. You see how these cells are all cluttered up and bushed together, and you see all this stuff going. This is what's being described in those same paintings. Notice in all Renaissance art how they're in all of these different forms, these bizarre forms, like everybody is glued together, or they're meshed together, or they're morphing each other. It's the same thing that's being described here, people, in cell structures. All right, let me keep going forward. What gets me angry is that this information has been known all throughout time here about this cell structure and changes, and no one has never said anything before about it. Again, if you look into these cell structures, what they look like eggs, look like flying eggs to me. You must be able to see other figures inside of here with them. Again, look at this guy's head here. It's supposed to be looking forward. He has a woman in there, other faces, another man, all of these other faces in there, showing you that there's these genes traveling with him on a successful mission to run down genes that came before, that calls for his creation, in fact, that they're going after to change now. And there's another thing that I'm gonna tell you something about this story that I can go with, but I'm not gonna do it now. But I'm gonna get up out of here in a minute. I don't even know what I'm gonna title this. Okay, here it is turned upright. I don't even know how many minutes I have here. Okay, we're good. 23 minutes. We're good. All right, here's it where I have it turned up. I took the picture and rotated it upward. It would be laying down this way. When you turn it upward, remember I told you about the hair signifies the genes? You know, you can get DNA, you can test a person's DNA through their hair and all, right? Well, when you turn these guys upwards, turn this picture upwards, if you look at the picture, here's the guys, 3 men, 1, 2, 3. They're turned upwards. There's the first man, the second man. In their hair comes created the face, when you turn it upwards, the face of a black man. I gave him a little 2 dots for his for his eyes right there, but there's his nose, his mouth, his beard, and all of that. And he's wearing a crown, right? Now, how I know it's a black guy, I know it's a black royal figure. It's a black royal figure. And how I know this is because the black royal figure's crown, in his crown, is the face of a monkey that morphs his forehead. So they're talking about this is all black royalty right here, and showing you how they clustered together and showing you that everybody was affected by this initiated cauldron, a cocktail of genes, which were created through the body of Christ. Now, Christ is this sacrificial lamb, so to speak, which traveled through the lands, through royal lands and through religious lands, through real famous places. The reason why Christ was doing this is because Christ was using his body as a sacrifice to not only to disperse DNA, but also to receive DNA. And through this process, Christ was actually crucified. And this is the real story of Christ, not that of being whooped to death, killed to death. No, that's not the real story of Christ. The real story of Christ is that Christ died as a sacrificial lamb on the cross, because the cross means, people, the cross referencing of mankind's genetic being. That's what the cross truly stands for. Ask anybody in ancient rooted religion and ancient rooted anything about the cross. They couldn't tell you what the cross means. Only on my station, my YouTube station, for the first time that anybody ever heard what the true representation of the cross means. It means the cross referencing of mankind's being, genetic being. Religion will tell you it's just a given. The cross is just for a belief, a symbolization of belief in God, the cross. Everything about religious art, everything about religion, whether it's in ancient texts or in an ancient depiction, all about the cross, all of it is unkeyed. I have decoded it to coming down to meaning one thing, and this is the reason why I can take these pictures and do what I can with them, is because religion and royalty is all about DNA. This is why there's preservation and about blood and through celibacy, and in ancient rooted royalty they have these ancient rooted bloodlines that they don't want to be intervened with anything. It all boils down to, people, DNA. And again, when you have all of this power, this money and this riches, what comes with that? This ideal in your head to want to live forever, to always want to be sustained in life, to always look good. So there's an altering where you have people and famous people and celebrities going out and getting boob jobs and boob jobs and face transformations and all of that, you know what I mean, facelifts and all of that. These people are doing it through the real way. They're going right after the blood, altering their genes. This is how they're doing it the real way, through genes. And they've been doing it all along. People, this is all about how our ancient ancestors, which was reptiles, ancient black people, then ancient Africans, how they all mastered, how they changed themselves from that reptilian state into being, into black people. Now this makes sense of how reptiles changed themselves into ancient black people. Okay, going from that skin, that reptilian skin, to that of our black skin. Think about it, people. Think about it. And then on to becoming everything else, Asian, and all of these other people of color, to finally on the tail end of this, they transformed into becoming Caucasian. This is the entire story of how we were created. Let me see what else I have here before I close this video up. This is how we were created, people. And if you read into the Bible and you read into all of that, this is all of what this is saying. Here's again the other picture. This is coming into reality here. This is all describing. And when you go to in Catholic Church, they're talking about, when they hand you that cup of wine, they say, here go the blood of Christ. And then they hand you that wafer cracker talking about this is the body of Christ. First of all, we're not even supposed to be worshiping blood or anything of that nature or symbolizing that, because that all comes down to be something dealing with cult. But this cauldron in which they're doing this with, is they're talking about in reality. Okay, because through this reality, through the church, the masses of people are being changed. I would not be surprised to you in all my heart and everything that I feel through my paranormal experience and encounter that you are truly getting some type of DNA within that through that drink that they give you in the real Catholic Church, and in that wafer you're getting some type of body, meaning the wine, meaning the blood of Christ, which they're giving you the blood. And then the body of Christ, that wafer cracker, which would be the DNA of Christ. They're talking about giving you cell structures through the body of Christ, with something that was created and used. I'm not talking about just Christ, but I'm talking about through lines that were created on top of that. They took and kept reinvented and recreated, and off a bridge of Christ, there was new bloodlines and DNA lines created, and they're feeding it back into the peoples and causing all these genetic changes in us. This is what I'm talking about. I'm going to go with that, people. Okay, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave. I'll put more in writing. Thank you.